Hey!
Hello, everybody. Sorry we're late. 1 minute late.
Yes.
Not because of Stig and I.
We were here.
We were here on time. I'm drinking a margarita right now.
I was drinking a margarita, but I'm about to drink this.
Yeah. So welcome to the Liquid Lunch, episode 3, take 2. Last time we tried to do this, we had some technical difficulties. So for those of you that tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for the difficulties there. It just gets crazy this time of year. So as soon as that cut, we didn't have time to start shooting again. Yep. I was traveling, you were traveling. So here we are, take 2. How to choose a long sleeve paddling top.
And we also, we got really down the beaten path of what we were doing over the next week or two. And we've actually come back from those 2 weeks of mayhem, so we can kind of talk about what happened as well.
Yeah, well, so yeah, it all works out. So to start, we're here doing the Liquid Lunch, and it's supported by the wonderful Whitewater Brewery.
Yes.
So last time we were going to do a beer review of the Astrolabe.
Yep.
So we're going to try and do that again. So thank you to Whitewater Brewery. A few things on Whitewater Brewery's end. One, they're awesome. So if you like good beer, buy some of this stuff. They have a bunch of other beers. Another one of my personal favorites is the Farmer's Daughter. I know that they have a bunch of seasonals coming out throughout the summer.
Yeah.
So just go check them out at any sort of LCBO beer store. Order directly from them. They're across Canada now. That same thing. And we'll talk about their sweepstakes. So right now, this year we partnered up with Whitewater Brewery to do a sweepstakes. So we gave them a stand-up paddleboard package. So it includes a 11.6 ice up inflatable board. So and then we've got a 3-piece carbon paddle.
Yep.
We've got a leash. We've got a ripcord inflatable belt PFD. They have a lot of really great streetwear, so they're donating a bunch of that. The contest ends Canada Day, and our plan is to, once it ends on Canada Day, is to get Chris hopefully here on July 5th. That's the Friday. We're going to do a Liquid Lunch with Chris, and we're going to do we're going to announce the winner of the sweepstakes.
Yep, and talking about his life too. I mean, he's gone through a crazy whirlwind since he started the brewery.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you follow it. I mean, on Facebook you can go check out. They've got ton of new vats were delivered. They have a new sign for their lakeside restaurant. I mean, it's insane how much these guys have grown.
Yeah, and I met Chris as we're both bum raft guides back in the day, so it'd be cool to get his kind of take as to where he came from. He's from the UK, and how he met his business partners and how they grew a brewery from the garage. Some garage in the valley to now they have 2 locations, 2 restaurants, and they're distributing beer across the country.
Yeah, massive vats as well. It's insane.
It is amazing. The other thing that I want to mention about the Whitewater Breweries, they're doing a golf tournament July 6th at the Whitetail Golf Club. So please check that out. It's a super fun event. Hopefully we'll be able to go this year. Fingers crossed. But check that out. You can find it on their social media. You can find it on their website. Sign up for it. I know it goes towards a great cause. Couldn't tell you what it is right now off the top of my head. But I do know that they donate part of the proceeds to that. And it's just a really fun event to connect with other people. So if you're in the Ottawa area, the Valley area, Whitetail Golf Club's a beautiful golf course just outside Eganville, and highly recommend the event. You'll have a great time.
Yep.
So we'll get Chris to give us more details on that, and we'll be able to relay that on. So
that's perfect.
But Astrolabe,
let's do this.
Let's open it up.
Thirsty.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Liquid Lunch, episode 3, take 2. Damn, that's good.
Oh, I heard that gulp.
If at least we make it past 21 minutes today of recording, we're a success.
Yeah. So as always, we have Jesse behind the scenes. So if you want to tune in live and ask any questions, Jesse will be there to relay the questions onto us or get back to you via chat. Any funny comments, go ahead, fire them up. Yep. Jake Weiss, hopefully you tuned in on this episode. I know you wanted us to give you a shout out last time. We love you, Jake. Next thing, you were just in Italy. You just got back from Italy.
Yes, so
Tell us about Italy. Tell us about why were you there?
Well, first of all, Italy's ridiculous. And we were there because last year I was at a trade show in Germany, and as Level 6 is growing, we have a warehouse in the Netherlands now, and we incorporated in Europe as well to really make it easier for our dealers to get the product. Whenever we go to a trade show, the number one thing was, we love your product, we love your styling, we just can't get it. So we knew that we had distributors set up in the past, but the problem with that whole multi-tier distributor thing, it's difficult because the pricing just gets more and more and more expensive. So the only real way to do it properly is to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Probably that probably goes with everything in life.
Yeah.
So we have a place there now. We land our product there. We ship it out to our dealers. So the idea is that if a Level 6 dry top costs $1,000 Canadian, it is going to be $799 US. It is going to be €799 including the VAT. So there's no weirdness about the price discrepancy. So with that whole thing, we needed to really make a mark in Europe. And I met Thomas and Kaz. They run the King of the Alps.
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, I know you can't say the Whitewater Extreme Championships because the WPA, they've got North Fork is out this year.
Kind of the biggest problem with Whitewater is that there's no true governing body.
Yeah.
It's just everyone claims that their own governing body.
That's right. So it's all fragmented.
Yeah.
But honestly, by far, one of the best run events I've been to in my life. And I've been to World Cups all around the world. We've hosted our own Level 6 Capital Cup. This thing, I think they were off by like 2 minutes.
Okay.
On one of the award nights, and she apologized for being late.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. So flew there. So it became we did a 3-year exclusive, and it's called Level 6 King of the Alps now.
Cool.
And it is awesome. It's what's nice about it. It's really all inclusive. It's not just like the stick line where it's extreme.
Yeah.
And you have to be a top boater in order to paddle it. There's a marathon section, and there's like 350 people go to this thing, and they cap it at that. There's a mass start. So the men's senior category, I think there's 120 people on the mass start. Marathon section, top 20 make it to the finals. That's another section of the river, and it is a heavy class 5.
Okay.
I was talking to Bren and Noria were there, and Ben and I were sitting by the side of the river, and he said to me, if you ever came across this rapid and it was unrun, you would say it's unrunnable.
Really?
It's that ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then you see someone go through it. You're like, holy, he survived. And someone else go through, you're like, oh, this is actually it's
doable.
It's doable.
Yeah.
But not without consequence. I mean, Noria, 2 days before the event, she swam out of the bottom hole. Eric Deagle swam out of the bottom hole. It's ridiculous.
Great boaters that are still getting mashed up by this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the winner was this 46-year-old ex-slalom paddler, and you could tell from the top, his paddling style was so beautiful. It's like over all the holes, technically sound.
Yeah.
He was 6 seconds faster than anybody else.
Wow.
On a minute 30-second course.
Wow, that's a big spread.
It was big. So
yeah.
Anyway, I just came back from there in Murano, Italy.
Yeah.
I would live in Murano, Italy. It's that gorgeous.
Cool.
And then on the Sunday, I actually got to paddle the river. Not the Intimidator section, I paddled the marathon section. They call it like a class 4, a heavy class 4. Coming from, it was an awesome boulder garden. I'd say it was a class 4 moves, but there's some class 3 in it. Yeah. But it was beautiful. Alps, mountains on both sides. I think it took us about an hour and a half to run it. We kind of played around as we went.
Yep.
We were with Ben Campbell, our new European sales manager.
Yes. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben. And Thomas, one of the organizers of the event. And yeah, we ran the river and then went back and we had a wicked dinner together and talked about next year and we could do better and what was so successful. And that was it.
Awesome.
So that was great.
Yeah. So right now, if you go on our website, we have 3 videos. It's a vote thing where you pick your favorite video. And it just gives you a good idea. Like when you describe that I watched some of the videos and when you describe that upper section, it's full on.
Yeah, it's full on.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at the video. I was like, it's pretty hairy stuff. So I'm glad it really went well, and hopefully, if you saw a Stig out there and you saw Level 6, that you'll be able to get access to our stuff now that we're doing it. Doing the distribution model ourselves. So
a ton of new dealers in Europe. I mean, we've got someone everywhere now, and it's just. And we can get fill in orders quickly and
wicked.
How about you? You were somewhere as well. You were off. Same place.
Yeah, I've been on the road. I was just down in Detroit doing a clinic on our supboards with one of our stores there. it was really awesome, super fun company that just brought everyone out. And so I just kind of did clinics with all our staff, and then I did a tour of Southern Ontario, just going in and educating stores. As part of what I do is go in and teach people about our products, or teach the floor staff at the stores at the retail level about our products. So that was really fun, and got to break the van, and I was the first one to do a really big solo tour in the van. So we've been customizing a 22-foot Dodge ProMaster, and we're just, we're doing good. We're doing well with it's just, you got to imagine, we're doing so much as far as running the company, and then we took it upon ourselves to customize the van. So we started in November. We're almost done. There's guys working on it right now, and so it was fun. It was really nice to, instead of staying in like a sketchy hotel or motel, it was nice to just kind of stay in a provincial park and just hang out in the van and tour around and spread the love. So, and then next week we're in Vancouver.
Yeah, we leave together on Tuesday. Doing the West Coast tour.
It'll be fun. And then we're done traveling until August, which I'm kind of looking forward to be honest, to slow things down a little bit. It's been a bit of a whirlwind the last 2 months. So, so let's get into our topic.
So how to choose a paddling top.
Yeah, specifically a long sleeve paddling top. So when we tried to originally do this, it was still quite cold out. So if you're in North America, we've been getting a lot of rain and cold temperatures. So we wanted to teach you guys how to pick a long sleeve paddling top. And obviously everything cut out. Now it's almost July, so it is almost past that season. But you know what? Because I just feel like the season's moved later now, right?
Yeah, still cold.
It's still cold. The water, is still fairly cold. So this is still relevant information to you guys. So we're going to go over how to choose a long sleeve paddling top. First, we're going to do a quick recap. We won't get as in depth as we did last time about exhaust, right? Or waterproof.
Did I ramble last time?
No, it's already out there. So we want to keep this pointed.
All right.
And moving. So
super quick then.
So exhaust, what is exhausting? Tell us all about it, because you're one of the creators behind it. So
exhaust is the fabric, the waterproof breathable fabric that we use to create all of our paddling jackets. So to kind of I'll keep it short because obviously I rambled last time. Talk too much. There's two ways to make a waterproof breathable membrane. There is a coating and there is a laminate.
Yeah.
Gore-Tex is a laminate. Exhaust is a laminate.
What's the laminate made out of?
Teflon.
Teflon. Okay.
Yeah. So laminate is, imagine a Teflon membrane, and they pre-stretch it to create little micro holes in it, allow the moisture vapor to pass through, but the holes are small enough that the water molecules don't pass through.
Yeah.
So you basically the vapor is passing through, which causes it to be breathable and waterproof. We use a laminate because you can have a much more consistent piece of fabric versus a coating. Imagine a coating, the fabric comes out of the mill and they're spraying on a coating, and that coating creates little micro bubbles as it dries, and then that is how that fabric breathes.
So it's inconsistent when you get that, when you get the coating.
From like left to right of a bolt of fabric is 60 inches long or wide, sorry. And so one edge might have a little more spray than the other, and so it's just not the same.
And does that spray wear out over time too? Like
we found for paddle sports, I think probably for like outerwear garments like a rain jacket or climbing Mount Everest, it's not the same. But paddle sports, it's super abusive to fabrics.
For sure.
You got PFDs rubbing against the fabric, it's pinning it to your spray skirt. There's a lot of high wear areas, repetitive motion. So we found we played with coatings in the past just as testing, but we found that laminates you can control it. It's more consistent breathability wise. You can play with how you glue that laminate onto the face fabric, which is the fabric that you see at the store when you buy the garment.
Yeah, so that's the actual nylon.
That's the actual nylon, the face part, which has the color and stuff in it. So we've always stick with the laminates because we find it's just been better for paddle sports. It's more expensive to do, but it certainly far outweighs, I think, the
cost-benefit analysis. You know what I mean? So you got to stay dry.
Yeah. So that's how that's our exhaust fabric. Jesse, the question?
I have a question for myself.
Oh.
How does it would you say it compares to Gore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah, I would say it's very interesting because Gore doesn't publish their breathability results. We've taken Gore fabric and done some testing to see how ours plays in, and it's very close. It's funny when you say about Gore because when we first developed this fabric, we were working with a mill in Japan that Gore was using to create their immersion technology. That was a membrane that they were creating really for paddle sports or for high wet environments. They realized that paddle sports is a super tiny business, so it wasn't worth it. So they shelved that project, but we were still at the same mill. So we actually took that technology that was being developed and we took that 3 or 4 or 5 generations later to keep with what we have in exhaust. And so this fabric, the idea of the fabric is that it's made, the way it's constructed and the way we laminate the inner membrane to it, it's such that it kind of fakes the fabric thinking that it's actually wetter inside than it is outside with your perspiration. So it forces that hydrostatic pressure of getting your moisture through the membrane. So
it's a lot of big words.
A lot of big words.
Yeah.
I mean, and I had a margarita before this, so.
And a beer before this.
Yeah, maybe.
You were working on the band. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding?
So, yeah, so.
Dad's coming home drunk tonight.
So that is how the membrane works. And then within our fabrics, we've got an ultralight fabric. We have our 2.5 ply ultralight. We have our 2.5 ply regular, and then we have our 3 ply.
Yeah.
And really it comes down to the type of style of paddling. Hardcore whitewater, you want an abrasion resistant fabric, so we always go with our 3 ply. It's a beefier, bulkier fabric.
Thicker. Yeah.
Thicker. Can really stand up to that abuse. Also, 3 ply fabric has an inner scrim, it's called. Mm-hmm. It's basically a protection layer on the membrane. And that helps keep the membrane protected from abrasion when you're paddling. Those repetitive movements we kind of talked about. Yep. The drawback sometimes with 3 ply, it's heavier, it's bulkier. So if you're into sea kayaking or lighter weight cruising or recreational paddling, it's a bit overkill. You don't need that. Mm-hmm. So then we jump to a fabric, our 2.5 ply fabric. So same face fabric, it's a ripstop, it's a lighter weight, but the membrane on the inside doesn't have the inner scrim. It has this print on it, and that print protects the membrane, which is the white part there, from abrasion. And then one step further from that, we have our 2.5 ply ultralight fabric, and this we won an award for as the most innovation in gear 2 years ago in Europe. Mm-hmm. And so same kind of concept, 2.5 ply with the print on the inside to protect the membrane, but it's extremely lightweight and compressible.
Yeah, it's 40% more compressible. It's very similar to that ultralight still stuff that you're seeing in tents that they're starting to incorporate into tents and tarps and stuff like that. Yeah. It's everything. The market's just really going towards ultralight, ultra packable.
Yeah, and for us it was, luckily, nothing we do here is off the shelf. I think we talked about that, a couple episodes ago. We go to the mills and we design our fabrics ourselves, our colors ourselves. So we had the chance to sit there and go, okay, we need to create a ripstop that has the same durability and shear strength as our 2.5 ply, but we want to make it as light as possible. And that's where the ultralight stuff came out. So you'll see that in all of our garments now. And we're kind of coy in how we use it. Even some of our whitewater tops, we use it in areas where there's a lot of compression required, so around your waist area. So the garment acts like an accordion style. Yeah. There's one other fabric, which we don't use. It's called a 2 ply fabric. Some brands use it. You have the face fabric, and then you have the membrane, but there's no protection on the membrane. It's totally fine for rainwear, where there's not a lot of abrasion requirements. But for paddling, where there's repetitive movements, it's being worn against the PFDs, it doesn't have a good fit. So you're always wearing away the membrane, and then it leaks.
And the ultralight stuff feels just as light. It actually, in fact, feels lighter, as far as I'm concerned, than the 2 ply.
For sure.
And then another point that I just want to touch on is my personal favorite. Like, I used to use the 3 ply. I know you mentioned overkill. Mm-hmm. It for me, it was overkill after a while. Yeah. When I stopped paddling in like super cold weather and stuff like that, I've turned into a fair weather paddler because I'm in an office all the time and I have to pick and choose when I want to paddle a little bit more sparingly. So now the 2.5 ply and the ultralight is by far my favorite material. Sure. So I can't recommend it enough. When people come and ask me about what type of top they should get, I generally gravitate towards the 2.5 ply and even the ultralight material as well. So,
agreed. I mean, people think that you need that thickness in order to be drier, but it's not the case.
No.
You know, the membrane is what keeps you dry.
I find it a little less breathable too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the
there's actually,
thicker it gets, the less breathable it is.
Yeah, you have more things for it to pass through, more glues to add to it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's a brief kind of overcap of what we do.
And then we do have a video online. If you go to our technologies page on our website, brewing tops and whitewater tops, because those are kind of the disciplines we deal with. Now, they're certainly not limited to those disciplines. I'm just kind of categorizing them that way for this particular form.
We could talk for 8 hours on each different piece. For sure.
So let's get into rec tops. So rec tops would be for somebody who's sit on top kayaking, weekend warrior, kayak fishing.
Yeah.
So we've got
even like stand-up paddleboarding in foul weather.
Yeah.
You know, like the Aurelia Niagara style.
Yeah. I mean, I've used some of my jackets for bike commuting.
Yeah.
I wish I had brought mine the other day when I got soaked in the rain.
Yeah.
Left and it was sunny, went home and it was pouring rain. So we'll start with the Aurelia and the Niagara. So I have the Aurelia and Niagara just pulled up right here. So this is our entry-level paddling top. This is the base, I guess, is where you would start.
Yeah.
So this is all constructed from our 2.5 ply ultralight material. It's very much just a shell. So paddle specific features. We are a paddle sport company, and I think that's what we do best is we make great gear.
Yeah.
We make paddle jackets, but they look great.
Yes, right.
Which is kind of a fine line. That's how we kind of separate ourselves. So features that are paddle specific, we've got these PU coated Lycra cuffs. So that's a polyurethane coated Lycra cuff. And
it stops the water, you know, when you're paddling and it's, the water drips down the shaft, drips down the forearm, it gets you wet.
For sure.
Those cuffs allow that to stop that from happening.
Yeah, so we've got the cuffs there. This is just a pullover with a quarter zip. And then we've got a fleece lined collar on the inside there. So this would be really great for anybody who's going to be paddling in humid environments where there's going to be rain or wind and splashes hitting your boat and hitting you in the chest or whatever, and you don't want to break the bank. So this is where you go. So we've got the men's, that's the Niagara, and then we've got the women's, that's the Aurelia. And then another feature that I can't, I love having the longer torso in the back. It makes a huge difference when you're paddling.
You're always sitting down when you're paddling. People forget that, like on the store shelf, it may look weird having a drop back, but when you're sitting in your boat, you need that extra length, or else the back is always exposed.
Your butt's going to be wet, and so that's the Aurelia Niagara. Really great option for not breaking the bank and just having that wind protection and splash protection.
Yes. So and this is all our ultralight fabrics. You can see how compressible this thing is. I mean, it goes into a small little bag, and the idea with this is that, say there's a chance of foul weather, you can pack this in a bag, stow it away in your boat, take it out if you need it. And you also notice there's no double tunnel. So kind of remember that term, because as we get to the more
specific jackets,
whitewater specific, or sea kayaking,
specialized jackets, you
want a double tunnel.
Yeah. So moving forward, we then get into the Baffin. So this is a long sleeve paddling top. So one thing that we do here at Level 6 is we try and blend fabrics together. There's not many other companies that do that, if any, where we have on this particular garment, we've got two types of fabric. So that ultralight fabric that I was telling you about, or that we were telling you about, that's on the torso here. And then we have our regular 2.5 ply on the shoulders. So the reason we use that ultralight fabric is because we mentioned it's 40% more compressible than traditional 2.5 ply fabrics. So when you're wearing your PFD, you get a lot of bunching underneath the PFD, and you want to have like a low profile in the torso, especially when you're sitting down, stuff kind of bunches up.
Yep.
So we went with a more compressible fabric in the torso. And then on the shoulders and high wear areas, elbows, we've got our thicker 2.5 ply material for more abrasion resistance. So where you're going to be carrying your boat, where your life jacket straps are going to be, where you're going to be snagging branches on walking into the whatever body of water you're paddling. And then again, fully adjustable neoprene cuffs on this as opposed to polyurethane coated Lycra, and a neoprene cuff at the neck. The reason we use the adjustable cuffs, do you want to go over that?
I mean, everyone has different necks, shapes, and sizes, and I mean, there's a lot of people you'll see do a punch through neck, which, you know, it's nice because there's no, maybe it's a little less bulky, but the problem as neoprene gets older, it kind of fatigues. The punch through neck kind of opens up, and then you've lost that seal.
Oh, when you first put it on in the store, how uncomfortable can it be? You know
If you have a lot of hair, you got to push your head through that.
Yeah.
Where the adjustability, you can cinch it down as tight as you want it, or if it's a really hot day, you open it up and you can
Breathe a little bit. Yeah.
So
those are a few of the reasons why we do certain features on our jacket. So moving forward on the Rec series, we have our Torngat and Ellesmere jacket. So again, another his and hers collection.
This is kind of a combination, you know, take kind of the features that we had in the Aurora Niagara, plus the feature you saw on the Bath, and we kind of combine them into a touring jacket that has a bit more use, I guess, a little more, I'm not saying extreme, but a little more foul weather resistance.
So again, we're blending our 2.5 ply ultralight fabrics and our regular 2.5 ply. You can see the two color tone here on this particular garment. So this is the Torngat, the men's jacket. We have a quarter zip down the front with fleece lined collar. And in that collar, if I flip this over, you'll notice that there's a Velcro at the back here. And that actually is where our stowable, removable hood is. So you can just unroll that. You've got a beautiful hood. It's removable, it's on snaps. So if it gets nasty and windy, a lot of people will gravitate towards having that hood as a good option there. And the beautiful part is that it just rolls up right in your collar. So if you're in your kayak, you don't want to flip over, it's super easy to tuck in there. I did that in 5 seconds flat, right? So you can do that behind your head very easily.
Probably less.
Probably less.
Yeah, so these, I would say, probably two of our most popular jackets.
Yeah.
Sea kayaking, kayak fishing, even paddleboarders are doing some multi-day stuff. They're wearing this because it's a good all full featured jacket.
Do you want to take us through the double cuff system?
Yeah, so we have, down here, so we've also developed this when we won that award. We wanted, everything we kind of do here, we kind of want to make it as functional as possible. Well, function first. But we also want to make it super stylish as well, because we know these jackets can be crossover jackets on and off the water. So same PU coated Lycra cuff that you saw on the Aurora Niagara. We also have this outer cuff, which hides that cuff and allows for, say you're wearing paddling gloves, you can tuck that inside there and allow that a lot more of a weather barrier against your wrist. So
the other thing too is, I mean, this jacket, when I think about the Ottawa, we have the Rideau Canal where you can just paddle straight downtown. It turns into the longest skating rink in the winters. In the summers, you can paddle right down it. It's totally open to the public. You can wear this jacket, go into a pub, no one would bat an eye.
Totally.
You know what I mean? You go, have your stand-up paddleboard or whatever, go and have a drink, catch up with friends, and then paddle back. Obviously not having too many drinks. And but you know what I mean? Nobody would know that this is a paddling jacket. It's a fashion-forward jacket that functions. It's got high paddling functions to it. So
So the bottom we also added, as we get kind of more and more towards our jackets are meant for fouler conditions, we have a gusset neoprene waistband at the bottom, and that allows you to kind of cinch down really tight against your spray skirt or against your skin. Smooth skin neoprene here, which is a nice feature of how
no chafing.
Locks against your skin. And then some laser cut ventilation holes.
Awesome. So that's the Torngat and Ellesmere, and there's one jacket that I don't know why I blanked on pulling it out, but I'll pull it out right now. Bear with me here, fine folks.
Where'd Pat go?
We've got our Nahani jacket.
Yes. So this was developed, canoeing is completely taking off right now. People have just kind of realized that which is great. People are realizing that outdoors has so much more to offer than just looking at it. So Canada's a canoeing country for sure. I think people are realizing why people like canoeing so much. It's so peaceful, it's quiet, you can take a lot of stuff with you. So we developed this.
See stuff too. Just like, stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had, so driving or hiking, it's great, but I find rivers and lakes take you to places that not many other people get to see unless they're willing to take that step to adventure, to get into a boat and to paddle themselves somewhere. You know, I've seen canyons that not many other people have seen just because of the fact that I jumped in a boat and was able to paddle down them, you know, and see them from a different vantage point.
Yeah, I think also canoeing it's like maybe more social. You know, kayaking, you're by yourself, or you're in the boat by yourself. Or canoeing, you could be with your family or your buddy. Anyway, it's wicked. So we developed the Nahani jacket as a canoeing specific jacket, but again, we designed it for all the different crossover markets. You know, biking or
even just a hiking jacket.
You don't have to wear it just for that. So same cuff system that we talked about in the Ellesmere and Torngat, the PU coated Liger cuffs with the overcuff. This has a full zip down the front. It's actually a two-way slider, so you can open it up from the bottom and top, and the cinch waistband at the bottom.
Fleece line pockets.
And ventilation pit zips on here as well.
It's super humid around here in the summer, so it's huge. We get these big rainstorms here, especially in Algonquin Park, because Algonquin Park is right next to us. We're only 2 hours away. I'm in there at least a couple times a year. We get these really hot rainstorms. So, but it's still, you know, it's raining, so you want to stay dry, but it's super warm, so you want to have that ventilation. So that's why these pit zips are key feature to that. Same
removable tuck away hood as what Pat showed before. So,
and it's the full ultralight 2.5 ply ultralight material.
So great jacket for, I mean, this 100% canoeing focus when we first started it, but it's now paddle boarders as well. If you don't want to pull over, this is a great full zip version.
I mean, I use mine anytime it rains now. Yeah. Longer torso at the back too. Again, can't mention enough about how much I love that feature. So that's the Nahani jacket. Moving on, we'll get into our touring jackets. So touring jackets would be more for sea kayaking, multi-day. You know, you're on the ocean or you're on the Great Lakes where we're from, where you can get wind and some nasty weather and some big water as well. So with that big water environment, you tend to get wind, rain, swells. I mean, there's people that surf on Lake Ontario and the Great Lakes. You know, it's an emerging sport here. So the swells get quite big. So you need something that's going to have a double tunnel on it. So the double tunnel actually works with the skirt. So you put your jacket on, and then you put your skirt on, and there's kind of a tunnel that your skirt goes into. You cinch that jacket up, and it creates a completely dry seal around the cockpit of your kayak. So if you roll over, you're not filling up with water.
Correct, yeah. So you have those big, massive shots of water coming up. It's not going to go up and then back in again. It's going to kind of, it's like a 3-piece seal to it.
So we'll start with the Canora. So the Canora is our mid-range, I guess you could call it, touring paddling jacket. So we have two touring-specific paddling jackets. We've got the Canora and the Juneau, which we'll show you after this. So again, we're doing 2.5 ply ultralight and then our regular 2.5 ply. You can see that in the two-tone here. We've got our double tunnel that Stiga just mentioned. What's this double tunnel made out of? This is very lightweight.
Yes, so what we've done, we've kind of played with the fabrics that we have. So this is, we kind of showed you the 3-ply fabric before, which has this inner scrim, which protects the membrane. What this is basically our, well, it is, not basically, it is our membrane laminated to inner scrim on both the outside and the inside. So it's got a bit of stretch to it. Extremely breathable because this is tucked in against your skin all the time. So it just gets the moisture off your body and transpiring away from you, so you're much more comfortable without adding any bulk to it.
Yeah.
So we do that for all of our inner tunnels.
Then we've got our single cinch system here. So what you're seeing here is we've got this little buckle. So you would tighten that up. That creates that dry seal around your skirt, and that keeps all the water out of your boat. Now, if this Velcro, for whatever reason, blows off, which I've seen happen a few times, it still stays tight thanks to this buckle. There's no other company that uses this.
Yeah, this is our whole DCS waistband system that we've stuck with it for 22 years and been doing this company. And
one of my favorites. Yeah.
It's you tighten it, you lock it down, and then it's like that for the rest of the day. Versus some of the other brands will have Velcro tabs. You got to kind of readjust all the time in your waistband. And the problem with those is that as the Velcro wears or sand gets in the hook side, inevitably it just doesn't
stick down
tight
anymore. Yeah.
So you're always readjusting.
So from there we've got our quarter zip, and then on the inside you can see that we've got that extra layer of the 2.5 ply ultralight. So it is a full semi-dry top is what I would call this. If you do this up tight enough, that'll keep 99% of the water out. If you flip over, you might just get a small drip of water down your neck, but it'll keep most of the water out. And then we've got a permanently fixed hood here on the back that's fully adjustable. So if the weather gets nasty, you can put the hood up, zip your quarter zip up, and you've got the nice fleece line collar there, and that will keep you dry, happy, protected from the elements. So moving on.
So kind of the use for this guy is lightweight sea kayaking. Even sea kayaking where you don't want latex gaskets, because as we jump to the next one, it has latex wrists. There's a love-hate sometimes with latex. Some people are allergic to latex. So this guy here with the cinch down wrist and neck, it is 99.9% going to keep the water from rushing inside the jacket.
Yeah.
To really get that 100%, the only way of doing it is latex. Yeah. So you'll see it more as we go to the next level of jacket. And our whitewater, you have the latex neck and the latex wrist to really keep all the water outside. But honestly, this is probably between the two. This is the better seller as far as number wise. It's a better price point. But it's back to what we just talked about, that 2.5 ply and ultralight fabric. It doesn't feel like you're wearing anything. It just feels so comfortable to paddle in.
Yeah, and the scenario would be you go out and you just bought yourself a sea kayak, you got yourself the skirt, you got yourself the paddle, you got yourself the paddle float, all the things that go with it, and you go and you paddle, and it's waves are hitting you, it's cold, you want to be able to extend your season. Yeah. This is the best way to do it without breaking the bank. This is going to be the first step you take, right? So as far as the first paddling jacket goes, for anybody who's just invested in a nice kayak and they're really investing their time and their money into getting into the sport, that's what I would recommend going for first.
Yeah, and even just because the weather may be sunny, the
water's cold.
I was in Bay of Fundy. Was it last summer?
Yeah.
I was out. I had my little 6-year-old daughter in front, and we were surfing the waves. We did this kayak tour. And we were surfing the waves back, and I was wearing that jacket, and just the spray alone, the water is, I don't know the temperature was probably like 8 or 9 degrees Celsius.
It's cold, yeah.
And just the spray of it and being able to, still being dry and comfortable, because we were, there's still a couple hours of paddling to do.
For sure. Yeah, and you're able to play and do your thing for, it's not going to ruin your day if you flip over or swim or whatever.
Yeah. So my daughter would have swam, that would have ruined my day, but.
Well, she's also like 6.
Yeah, so would have cried probably.
So we get into the Juneau next. So the Juneau is our high-end touring.
It's a top of the line.
Yeah. So this would be anybody who's going to be like, I'm going to circumnavigate Newfoundland, for example.
Or multi-day stuff where you need to be
Alaska.
dry.
So what we called it the Juneau.
Yeah.
In the Pacific, you've got the Bering Sea, you've got, it's cold up in Alaska, so that's why we named it Juneau.
Yeah.
After the town in Alaska. So this is a 2.5 ply material, and then our 3 ply material in the high wear areas. So again, abrasion resistance in the high wear areas, so your shoulders, and then you've got your 2.5 ply material, not the ultralight, just the regular 2.5 ply material in the torso, so you don't get bunching and stuff like that. You got your double tunnel, you've got your dual cinch system here, so as opposed to just one cinch, you got 4 points of contact here.
Larger surface area, you can kind of really compress that waistband down.
So this would be good for surfing, playing in the waves, playing in the breaks. And then we have these wonderful fleece line pockets. So it goes right across. It's a kangaroo pouch. fleece lined pockets, great for cold days, colder climates. This is what I would recommend.
A lot of people forget too that when you're doing a multi-day sea kayaking trip, you pull into a beach. I mean, you're not always paddling when you're wearing this jacket. You know, you're coming into shore, you're having lunch, you're standing around. If it's miserable, windy, and rain, having that fleece lined kangaroo pouch is amazing. You get your hands stay warm. You got your body heating them up, and you take them out. You can eat your lunch, and you can go back in your boat and paddle.
Yeah. And then other features on this particular jacket, we've got our latex gaskets, wrist gaskets. So that's what Sig was mentioning. So if you have a latex allergy, this isn't the jacket for you. But the latex is really the best way to stay dry. So you can take a big surge of water to the wrist, and it's not going to go up there. And then on top of that, we have the adjustable cuff system, over cuff. So it's a redundant system. It'll keep all the water out of your wrists.
You also put that over cuff on as well, because latex is not great in sunshine. Like the UV can really, sun kills everything.
Yeah. But
that UV really degrades that latex. So having that over cuff system will ensure your gaskets last even longer than normal.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then from there we've got an adjustable neck system, gusseted neck system. So again, you can open that up if it gets really warm out, if you get some sun, and it's fully breathable. So and then the permanently fixed hood. Cool. So those are the touring tops. Jesse, any questions so far?
Nope.
Cool.
Hate tweets? I need a hate tweet.
I can give you a hate tweet.
I'll send you some this weekend.
Moving on. We're making pretty good time here.
We are.
We're almost under an hour. We got 20 minutes until we hit an hour, so we'll try and cap it at that. Let's talk whitewater tops.
Yes.
Now, we have a few more of these whitewater tops than we do some of the other ones. But we'll start with the Borealis. So the Borealis is what I would call a semi-dry top, so it doesn't have latex gaskets.
Yeah, that's kind of an industry term. Like, there's dry top and semi-dry. It doesn't mean that you're gonna be semi-dry in it. Anything that doesn't have latex neck and wrist, we call semi-dry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could call it a splash top, I guess, or a paddling top, but
it's not really a splash top. Like the splash top would be the Torngat, the Aurelia, the Niagara.
I was trying to change the way people think, Pat. God, man.
Sure, man. We're changing the way people think about paddling gear because we're blending fabrics and doing our thing, man. So this is a Borealis named after Aurora Borealis.
Yep.
Name I came up with.
Named this.
Hell yeah. And then the short sleeve is called the Australis, named after the Southern Lights, Aurora Australis. So this is a semi-dry top, as we just mentioned. We've got the neoprene cuffs in the neck and the wrists, no latex. So if you have a latex allergy, this is your top. And then we've got our 2.5 ply ultralight and regular 2.5 ply on the high wear area. So you can see the theme. This is something that we've always done and is what sets us apart from anybody else, I find. I think it's what we do best. There's not many other people that blend fabrics, and I've always been a believer in blending the fabrics together. You got a nice little chest pocket here. So this would be great for whitewater paddling top. If you're just getting into whitewater paddling and you can't afford to buy a $300 dry top, you can go towards something like this, which would be, I think it retails, $2 something.
Yeah. Another use for it, I mean, I've used this same top actually sea kayaking in Nova Scotia as well, because I knew it wasn't going to be rainy. I didn't need the hood.
Yeah.
So that was fine for me too. Yeah. So there's also that kind of market as well. We sell a lot of these to Europe in that sea kayaking trend.
Yeah, southeast. This is a big piece too. Where the water's cold, but the temperature is quite hot, and it is kind of nice to get a little bit of water in there to cool you down. Yeah. There you go. And then moving forward from that, we have our Duke. This is probably our best-selling dry top.
For sure it is.
I use the Duke now. I switched from the Nebula and the Mac to the Duke just because it's full 2.5 ply material. So I find it to be just super breathable. It keeps me dry, keeps me bone dry.
Super lightweight too, which is there's no I think you and I, since we both have kind of long arms, we've always had a hard time. The range of motion, you're always restricted by paddling jackets where the lighter the fabric, you don't get that.
Yeah, totally. So this one, again, it's just our regular 2.5 ply construction throughout the whole thing, and then you've got your latex neck and wrist gasket. So that's why we can offer this top at such a great price. It's a full dry top. In the US, sub 300. Yeah. And
I
then
think $249 or something like that.
yeah, and then Canada it's $300.
Yeah.
So I mean, try and find a dry top for that price anywhere else, and it's difficult to do, right? So, any other features you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was going to mention before the last latex.
Oh yeah.
All the latex gaskets that we use, it's going to be hard, I'll try to focus in here on this, but there's many ways of putting latex gaskets onto a garment. And we get all of our gaskets out of this one place in England. They're not cheap, but they are perfect every time. They're thicker latex than what you see kind of a standard out there. And thicker kind of means it will retain its shape a little bit much longer than a thinner latex. We also, you can see that kind of gloss on there. We actually, all of our gaskets, we dip them with this heat-activated glue. And what's nice about that is that when we seam tape them, it reactivates the glue, and so you get a permanent bond between the seam tape and the latex neck.
Yeah.
So just that little feature alone will ensure that you don't get that latex gasket separating from the fabric. It'll just last a lot longer, and it's certainly worth the extra investment to have that done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean this is my favorite dry top as well.
The Duke, yeah, 100%. And I was talking to Joel Kowalski. He switched over to the Duke recently. Yeah. Absolutely loves it. He just loves the 2.5 ply material. So
I think for the style of paddling we do in Eastern Canada, I mean, we don't need that abrasion resistant of the 3 ply because it's all like Ottawa's big
I'm not
water
running into rocks.
Yeah,
I'm not running into rocks unless I do it on purpose, right? So
I would.
Now I did use our 3 ply when I was in Italy because it's a full-on boulder garden.
Yeah, for sure. So you got that abrasion resistance.
Exactly.
Which brings us into the Nova and Nebula. So we'll highlight the Nova for our beautiful ladies out there.
Yeah.
So the Nova is a 2.5 ply, a regular 2.5 ply in the torso. Again, that compression, where your PFD, the low profile, that's what we're striving for when we use the 2.5 ply material. And then it comes reinforced with the 3 ply material on the high wear areas, so elbows, shoulders. And this is one of our longest selling dry tops, right? It was redesigned, so we had the Mac in the Mist.
And then we the iconic dry tops we first designed.
And then we redesigned them or gave them an update and then renamed them to the Nova and the Nebula. So so that's that with the top. Again, latex gaskets. Is there anything else you want to say about that particular jacket?
You can kind of see on the inside, this is a good one, you can see the body mapping of what we've done with the fabrics. Turn that inside out quickly.
Ooh. There we go.
You see how this garment's done. So you see that this white part here, that's our 2.5 ply fabric, and then the gray is our 3 ply. So you see, really get a good visual on how much thought goes into this garment. And we also, something that I would say, I think we pioneered it, because I hadn't seen it out on the market by anybody else. These, we call them crop circles from the Aliens landing, but these are 2-inch circular seam tape patches we put over top of all this, where the 2- and 3-way seams. The reason why we do that is because when you sew a garment, especially in 3 ply, there's a lot of bulk on the seams, and if you have more bulk, the seam tape can lift off the fabric a bit, and if that happens, there's potential for water to channel underneath. So we put all these, every single time you see a seam join with another seam, we put these circular patches over top, breathable circular patches, to really bond an extra bond down on that fabric.
It's a little bit of redundancy, which
is
the name of the game.
Kayakers are brutal on their equipment, so this allows it to maximize the life of the garment.
Yeah.
So you can see it there. So that's what that jacket looks like from the inside.
And then we have the men's version, which is called the Nebula, right here. And again, it's just the same, what we just covered with the Nova, but it's the men's cut. So that's the Nebula jacket with the beautiful Rasta colors right there. So, and that takes us to, sorry, go ahead.
I guess to use these jackets, this would be if you're, let's say you're Colorado out west, around the green, Moose Fast, where you're really kind of hammering against the rocks, you want that abrasion resistance. That's where you go with these guys.
Yeah, I used to use them as an instructor a lot, just because I'm running into boats and I'm on shore emptying stuff. So that abrasion resistance made a big difference. I think I had my Mac for about 6 years before I ever considered replacing it, and it kept me dry. So
yeah, that fabric holds it really. Someone who was paddling Oh, Ben Campbell told me a story. He was running this. I gotta get him to chime in. Maybe he's watching, but he's running this slot somewhere in Europe, and it's historic for destroying garments. He's wearing our Emperor dry suit made of our 3-ply, and the line basically is you have to bounce off this rock wall in order to hit this hole. And he did it, and big hit on his top, and just like not even a scuff mark on it.
Yeah.
Another athlete was with him. They're wearing standing line top, and same move, tore the top.
Yeah.
So that 3-ply fabric is extremely durable.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
that's how to pick a long sleeve top. If you have any questions, you can get at us via Instagram or leave a comment on this video. If you're not tuned in live and you're watching this later, you can leave a comment on the video. Somebody will get back to you. We get notifications about all this stuff, so we're happy to answer those questions, or just email info@level6.com and we'll be able to get back to you. Is it time for a beer review?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and if you can't, all of our dealer, this is our core offering from Level 6.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to our dealer locator page, we have a dealer almost in every state and province and country in the world that paddles. Mm-hmm. So they have them in stock. They can special order if you want as well. You can actually go and touch and feel them yourself. And this video, we kind of talk it through. It's hard to not see what we're talking about without actually touching it yourself. Mm-hmm. So those stores have them, and go check them out. And they're pretty knowledgeable as well.
Yeah.
About what's going on. So
yeah.
So,
Cool.
beer review.
Astrolabe.
I like it. I'm an IPA guy now. I was not IPA guy a couple years ago, but I don't know, for some reason I am now.
I can have one, maybe two, sometimes three, depending on how I'm feeling.
I have a minimum of 13.
Yeah,
13.
Jesse is a lush.
Yeah.
The first thing he does when he gets in here, most of us drink coffee, he just does a shot of tequila and then drinks beer.
Yes.
So,
I like it. It's not too hoppy.
No,
it's not crazy.
It's smooth. And it's got a very citrusy taste to it, I find, as well. So I highly recommend it. I don't know much what else I can describe it as other than like a citrusy IPA.
Yeah, I think I would have said that. I was not even describing. I was going to ramble on about more things like I classically do.
Old man just
Farmer's Daughter was my ultimate favorite for the longest time. But I'm going to say this is certainly, I'm going more towards these stronger beers. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm getting old.
The Icebreakers too.
The Icebreaker IPA is delicious as well. So definitely go out and pick up an Astrolabe.
Yeah. These are LCBO. I know we bought a bunch. LCBO?
LCBO. You can find them at some grocery stores if you're in Ontario. So we have wacky liquor laws. Mm-hmm. But I know Chris is at the forefront trying to change those laws to make it more accessible to get beer, which keep on fighting the good fight, man. So Whitewater Brewery, Astrolabe, delicious. I give it a 10 out of 10.
You always give 10 out of 10.
Okay, I'm biased because I am not a huge IPA guy. If I'm going to compare it to what else is in their lineup, I'm going to give it, let's go out of 5, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Based off of the other beers that I've drank out of their lineup.
Your favorites.
Yeah. So like I'm very much Farmer's Daughter or their seasonal Farmer's Daughter's melons. It's a watermelon Farmer's Daughter.
What?
So it's a watermelon blonde beer. Amazing.
Okay.
Perfect for the summer.
Okay.
I don't know if they're making it this summer, but I know it was one of their sessions from, one of their seasonals from last year. Okay. So I give it a 3 out of 5 based off of other beers that I like out of their lineup.
Right.
Overall, excellent beer because they just make great stuff. So,
wow.
What do you give it?
Well, I'm going to say
out of 5.
I was going to go with the 10 scale originally, but now we're going to divide in 2. I would say this one and what was the other one? The Icebreaker? Those are my top 2 favorite now.
Okay.
So I guess a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Those are the 2 that I gravitate towards. Mm-hmm. Where I used to like the Farmer's Daughter a lot. That was kind of my favorite. I guess that's what they were known for when I first.
Yeah, it was one of their first beers.
I had one. I had one an hour ago.
Yeah.
But this is I like this taste more. I don't know why. I don't know why I like that taste more, but I like that stronger IPA taste.
Yeah.
And the icebreaker, that same kind of feel to it. So for me, it's one of my top 2.
Yeah.
So
cool.
What is that rating? I rated 9 out of 10.
Let's rate it out of 2 now.
Okay.
1, you wouldn't. 2, you would.
2, I would.
All right. So
any last questions? Hate tweets? Give me one hate tweet. Jesse, make one up.
Told you it's coming.
You walk around wearing that level 6 king hat.
I just got it.
And you wear it like it's a fucking crown. And you just look down on us in the office. That's why you started wearing it. No one else wears it. And you just walk around wearing the king hat.
God, I never got one.
So how about that for a hate tweet?
I like that. I got to put, speaking of crowns, I got to put a crown on Noria Newman last week in Italy. Yeah. Because she won. She was the queen of the Alps.
And then you put the crown on the other dude that won as well?
No, my wife Carrie put the crown on the other dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he was like Gregory Becker.
Okay.
Dude, this guy slayed it.
Where's he from? The UK?
Good question. Germany, Austria, or Italy. Becker. He, old slalom paddler. But man, he killer.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
And Nuria as well, eh?
Yeah, Nuria was. I mean, Nuria is so far beyond the rest of the women at that level of extreme racing.
Yeah.
Other women did fantastic, but she paddles so aggressively.
Yeah.
That that's why she won. And she's an excellent paddler too, so she knows the lines. But
cool.
Yeah, it was good.
So news coming up. Like I said, we're going to try and do our next episode July 5th, so please tune in there. We're going to try and bring Chris in here. Hopefully he can make it in. Otherwise, we might have to do it earlier, depending on his schedule. I texted him a while ago, so I know he's a busy man, but hopefully we can get him in, and we'll announce the winner of the Whitewater Brewery sweepstakes then. And we'll just get his whole story. Super interesting cat. And overall good dude.
Yeah. I think he was top 40 under 40. Was he nominated or did he win?
Yeah, I know he won.
He won.
Yeah. So top 40 under 40 in Ottawa here. So which is amazing. Yeah, super hardworking guy, and that's not to take credit away from the other guys that are in there, James and the other Chris Thompson. They're both super awesome dudes as well. And all 3 of those guys worked really hard, as well as the rest of their staff to build that company to the way it is. So hopefully we'll get him in here and we'll be able to talk more about brewery. We'll talk about business. We'll make it less paddle centric, and just get a story behind an interesting individual who started in paddle sports and gravitated and evolved and grew a really successful business. So that's another thing that we want to do here. It's not just talk paddle sports, but also just talk kind of culture and to interesting people that were made out of paddle sports, you could say. We're going to be in Vancouver next week. So if you see us there, wave us down, say hello. We'd love to hear from you.
And Seattle.
Yep. What else do we have going on here? As far as news, there's so much going on. I can't even remember.
Our 2020 line is coming in right now. That's what Pat and I are doing now. The way the season industry works is we're selling the 2020 line right now to our dealers. So we're showing them what we've come up with, the new innovations, the new ways of constructing things, and then we do the whole trade show circuit, and then we're manufacturing. Actually, we have a bunch of new dry suits coming out in the fall, and we're manufacturing that stuff now. And like this stuff, we have a design team here that is impeccable.
Yeah,
the stuff that's coming out is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, so we're excited to launch that stuff. We're going to show it to all their dealers first, and then we're probably going to start doing public sneak peeks. In September.
Some people have probably may have already seen it.
Yeah,
like a bunch of our athletes. Yeah, I mean, testing this stuff since the spring.
Yeah.
So if you've been on the Ottawa, Joel or Katie or actually a bunch of athletes of the worlds now. They've got some of these things that we've been working on, and I mean, super proud. Like that, some of the stuff's pretty groundbreaking. Yeah,
just try and go find one of our athletes. Jesse's giving us the cutoff. Jesse, you suck. Nobody likes you. So
it's officially an hour.
Yes, it's been an hour. So thank you very much for tuning in.
Guys. Cheers.
We love you guys. Cheers to everyone. Happy Canada Day. Happy Independence Day. We will see you July 5th.